Revelations.Unveiled.Detroit.
All praises, family, for our continued existence and the ability to gather together so we can conceive and perceive the current events that we are immersed in here on this wonderful global creation. Yet here in so-called America, or spiritually Babylon, Sodom, and Egypt, family, we continue to look directly into the face of the trickery that has befallen us here on this continent of captivity and confusion. We've been bamboozled, hoodwinked, led astray, run amok, bullied in society. Permissions, conditions of acceptability have been thrust upon us of so-called sane sensibilities. We're now in this current society, conditions or afflictions deemed to be mental issues several decades ago are common fare in this questionable time where we have to tolerate, accept, or let live as they live. So be it. If all men are created equal, we all have the ability of expression of self. If we all have our own truth, we all can live in it. So be it. But let us consider today, family, an article that continues to bring confusion into the society. We must make the determination of this dysphoria, the determination of this dysphoria, the determination of this dysphoria. Will we get on the bandwagon of treatment? Or will we allow the continuing escalation of this abomination in our society? And we began with an article entitled, or the theme of our story, Trans Travesties, Confusion and Pregnancies. Now, how will that work, family, you wonder? Well, as you can see from the visual, this is a young man. His name is Demi Moore, presently incarcerated. However, Mr. Moore, Demi Minor, as in less than an adult minor, is currently incarcerated, but has been involved in some chicanery and some confusion within his institution. So let's see what the story tells us of this trans travesty of confusion and pregnancy. 2 women fall pregnant in prison after having sex with trans inmate. So now the question is, what's a trans inmate? It's understood that Demi Minor, the pictured young man, who helps run a website called Justice for Demi from the prison, was responsible for the pregnancies. 2 women have fallen pregnant in prison after having sex with a transgender inmate. Well, how can that be so, family? Aren't women only impregnated by men? Are they calling this person who impregnated women a man? The pair being held at Edna Mahan Correctional Facility in Clinton, New Jersey, which houses 800 people, including 27 trans women, which I believe they're classifying these gentlemen as trans women in this institution. In a letter sent to U.S. radio station NJ 105.5, an inmate at the institution claimed that one of the women was 5 months pregnant. The letter also says that the prisoners had a history of sex acts in public areas and had to be separated from each other as a result. The Mirror reports, and the Mirror is the name of the agency that captured the story. It's understood that Demi Minor, who helps run a website called Justice for Demi, from the facility, was responsible for the pregnancies. So, family, this trans inmate, Demi Minor, was responsible for getting another inmate pregnant who they had a history of sexual acts within the facility. The website notes that she was sentenced to 30 years behind bars for manslaughter when she was 16 years old. And they're talking about the person you see on the screen being referred to she having a 30-year sentence in this facility. She wrote on it, surprisingly, oh, well, let's see. I think this is the woman. Okay. She wrote on it, surprisingly, I am 3 months pregnant and I conceived while incarcerated here at Edna Mahan Correctional Facility. Although Edna Mahan breeds a pervasive culture of rape, I was not raped, nor was I forced to do anything that I did not want to do. So, family, this is one of the 2 women who became pregnant by trans inmate Demi Minor. This lady indicates there's a pervasive culture of rape. However, she was not assaulted or forced to do anything. Despite it not being permitted, I fell in love and had consensual sex with a woman who is trans. Did you hear that, family? This lady who became impregnated knew it wasn't permitted, but she had consensual sex with a woman who is trans and became pregnant. Consensual sex is a prohibited act at Edna Mahan facility. A woman said to be the mother of one of the children also wrote a blog on the website called Freedom, Love, Pregnancy, and Trauma. She said she found love in a hopeless place, a Rihanna song quote, and that she is a 31-year-old serving a life sentence. Oh, it's shame, or it's terrible thing. 31 years old with a life sentence. New Jersey began housing trans inmates in women's prisons last year following a lawsuit by the state's American Civil Liberties Union. So, family, this organization filed a lawsuit on behalf of trans inmates to be housed in women's prisons, even though for this article we see that 2 pregnancies occurred. The call came after a transgender woman, which would be a biological male who identifies as a woman, said she was abused while incarcerated in all male prison. So the transgender woman is allowed to be in correctional facilities with women, and they can get them pregnant because the American Civil Liberties Union won a lawsuit. Oh, this is New Jersey. New Jersey's policy does not require trans women inmates to undergo gender reassignment surgery to be held in the facility. Well, if there was a gender reassignment surgery, there would be no risk of those able to become pregnant by the others would happen, I guess. It has received some backlash, with 2 prisoners at Etna Mahan filing a lawsuit to end New Jersey's gender identity policy for prisons. They claim they were harassed by trans inmates and that transgender prisoners were having sex with female prisoners. Okay. New Jersey Policemen's Benevolent Association, a union for state correction officers, also criticized the policy. President William Sullivan told NewJersey.com, "We oppose this policy change, believing it would be detrimental to the general population of female inmates being housed at Etna Mahan and also bring added stress to our correctional police officers assigned to this institution." So there it is, family. Trans travesties. The impregnation of women at this correctional facility by a trans woman who can't go to male correctional facilities under the threat of abuse. So, family, this is another example where we have to remain vigilant and continue to sharpen the acuity of our spiritual ear and eye and speak against the allowed confusion of society, where we should be treating a condition of dysphoria as opposing to allow such activity to occur within what we hope to be a normal society. So we shall reconvene again in education and edification for the holy hidden nation. And until we are together again, I love you. I love you. I love you. To be continued. Revelations.Unveiled.Detroit.